So, guys, today I'm excited about what we're going to be dealing with. I believe that today's subject matter is one that's straightforward. It's not something that's complicated. It's something that if you do on a regular, you're going to expand your business by at least two closings a month. You can do this. It's very possible. It's something that can take place. I call it the 5-3-1 strategy. Let me be upfront. This is not something that's original. It's something that comes from the longtime gurus of real estate, but I just have adopted it in my life and it works perfectly. It helps you build a predictable pipeline for closing more deals a month. And many times the statistics say you can close at least 2+ closings every month if you follow the 5-3-1 strategy. Before I even get into too deep, let me tell you what 5-3-1 is. First, five new leads per day. You need to add 5 new leads per day to your CRM. Three conversations per day. Now, when I started, I was told to have 30 and I was told to have 50. You know that you don't always have 50. You know you don't always have 30. But I'm telling you, if you have 3 show enough meaningful, not telling you to reduce down from 30, but if you at least have 3 meaningful conversations a month, a day, you're going to find success. One appointment a day. Because every one of those conversations ought to be trying to get you to a face-to-face with a person. There's 3 that you're trying to work on. If you're talking to homeowners, you're trying to get a listing appointment. If you're talking to future buyers, you're trying to get a buyer consult / tour. So you can take them out and you can add that into landlords and tenants. You're trying to get somebody to let you list the home. That's an appointment, or a consult, or touring, or showing. That's an appointment. And another appointment is you're trying to get in front of another agent to be able to share with them either about the greatness that comes with working with EXP, or if they're already with EXP, you want to share with them the benefit of what the Wolf Pack can give to them, which they might not have gotten through the sponsor that they came to EXP with. But the bottom line is you need to go with the 5-3-1 paradigm on a regular basis. Now, let me tell you what usually takes place with agents and their problem. Many times you're not lacking sales skills. You have enough to make a sale because you've made sales before. You're lacking structure. And that's what the 5-3-1 strategy is meant to do. It's meant to give you structure. It's meant, here goes my favorite word, to give you a system so that you can save time, energy, money, effort, all around. You want to make sure that you can save on that. No need to keep spending money on something that you don't need. So phase 1 deals with panic and prospecting. There's a lot of agents that spend their time in a panic mode. You ever just been 1 month without any deals? 2 months with nothing taking place? By the time you get to 3 months, you kind of upset, you kind of nervous, and especially if your real estate income, it helps to pay your bills. 0 deals in the pipeline. You just kind of, if you're a spiritual person, you're praying. If you're not, you're wishing. But you're trying your best to get something. You got to get past that. Phase 2, you got to learn how to get clients under contract. You got to make sure that you allow the focus to shift to transaction administration. That's how you get clients under contract. You shift the focus from just panicking to making up in your mind, I'm going to follow a system. And then what you've discovered is you do the drop off. Many times what happens is because you don't have a system, your leads go neglected. I'm guilty of that. There was times when I had leads come in month number one, but new leads came in month number two. So what did I do? I forgot about month number one and went to month number two. Then new leads came in month number three. So now I forgot about month number two and went to month number three because the only thing I was expecting was it had to be a hot, ready lead at the moment. And if it wasn't hot and if it wasn't ready, soon as something else that has potential came in, I forgot about them. And then it's about 90 days later, if not longer, and I still have an empty pipeline because I haven't reached out. Over and over again, we find agents doing just that. But then once you get to the closing date, you find yourself recycling back to you panicking. So can you imagine that happening? Say you have a closing on this upcoming Tuesday and you're so excited, you haven't called anyone else, you haven't reached out to anyone, you've just been walking with this one closing, and then you go to the closing, you shake your client's hand, the client goes to their new location, and then you're back to panicking. You don't have nothing in store. You have nothing ready for you. That can't be the case. You need to have 2 or 3 deals already set up. And as they close, you ought to already know what day on that. If you close on Tuesday, you ought to be ready to close on Thursday. And then when you close on Thursday, you ought to already be set up to prepare to close on the following Monday. It has to be a cycle. It's a recycling cycle. But if there's no recycling, it's going to die out. Can you imagine if everyone in our universe died, but there was no longer any births? The population would die out. They call that something in the animal kingdom. They say that those particular animals are doing what? Growing extinct. And that's what takes place with a lot of agents. You allow your pipeline to grow extinct because you haven't applied an effective system. So you have to go every 2 or 3 months before you see another closing. You ought to be closing each and every month. And when you really get your system in order, you ought to be closing multiple deals per month because you're not lacking sales skills. You're lacking a structural habit. And that's what this is. This is a structural habit that I want to give to you, that I want you to look at. Consistency always beats temporary intensity. Consistency is always better than intensity. Just because you can go strong for 5 days, that's not better than going strong but slower at 90 days. You know, the greatest story that we all grew up with, no matter what generation you come from, I believe the story remains the turtle and the rabbit, or the tortoise and the hare. You know, the rabbit was fast, the rabbit was energetic, and the rabbit was just thought he could take off and win, but he played a little bit. He was allowing himself to be distracted. The tortoise, the turtle, remained steady. No breaks, no games, no distractions, straight ahead. Slow as you can imagine, but still won. Why? Consistency. You win when you are consistent. Work on trying to progress and be consistent, then try to be perfect. Leave that perfection alone and give it your best. Stop focusing on volume goals. Stop telling yourself, and I know some of the gurus, they talk about getting 10 million and getting 20 million and coming up with 50 deals. That's long term. But stop focusing on that in the short term because they create what we call lag measurements. A lag measurement is something that you can't control. You just look back and say, that's what I did. Okay, you look back and say, I did 15. You look back and say, I did 20. You can't directly control a lag measurement, but you can entirely control a lead measurement. In other words, if you get on the front end of what you're doing and make up in your mind that you're going to move in that direction, and you're going to make daily behavior actions and inputs, you can control that because no one can control your behavior except you. And I guarantee you, consistent compounding. You hear people say if you collect $1 every day or you invest $1 or $10 every month, the compound effect. So by the time year number 6 comes around, you are just making tremendous money just on the interest. Warren Buffett is a key person that talks about the compounding effect. Well, that's what happens when you start using lead measurements and you start using this 5-3-1 strategy that we're going to talk about. You're going to see a compound take place. Consistency will always beat out intensity on a regular basis. Let me show you some lag and lead measurements and how they differ for a moment. Okay, with lag measurements, you have results that you hope for. I hope to reach 10. I hope to reach 10 million. I hope to accomplish this, but you don't control them. You're just hoping, you're just praying, you're just wishing, but you don't control them. However, you can control your daily actions. I can control how many people I call today. I can control how many people that I deal with today. I can control those particular things. So if I concentrate on what I can control, my results will be much better. That's how we have to look at it. All right, another lag. You react to what has already happened. Don't become a reactive person. Be a proactive person. Do it on the front end. Don't just become a person that every time something happens, you react to it. You will drive yourself crazy. You create the momentum. You create the predictable results. And you do that up front by the behavior, habits, and inputs you choose to do right now. Make up in your mind what you're going to do on today. I'm going to give you 3 things. 5, 3, 1, so that you can do that on a regular basis. And if you can create your own momentum, don't wait for the wind to blow, because how many some days it's not windy. Some days the wind just will not blow. But if you create your own momentum, if you bring your own engine, then you're not dependent upon if the wind blows. You always have something taking place. Lag measurements usually create stress, inconsistency, and burnout. Why? Because of the fact, soon as you don't meet your goal of 50, you only did 25, you're stressed. You start being inconsistent. You feel what we call burnout. No, when you have lead measurements and you do it on the front end, and you make up in your mind what behaviors you're going to follow, it's going to build confidence. It's going to build consistency. And you're going to have, this is guaranteed if you do it. If you follow the steps, you're going to have long-term success. Long-term success. Now, here's some actions that you can do on a regular that would assist you. At least prospect 10 people on a regular every day. Reach out. So see, even though I talk about 5, you need to just hit as many people as you can. Connect with 5. You bounce it up a little higher. Connect with 5 people daily. Follow up with 3 people daily. Anytime you get into programs where you work with other organizations that send you referrals, you'll notice that they will always send you every 5 days, every 10 days, every 3 days, an update needed. Whether you're working with realtor.com, Zillow, anyone, that wherever you're working and whenever you're working with someone that you're working with a referral, they demand updates. You have to demand that for yourself. You're going to have to demand that you follow up on your appointments and your conversations and your leads on a regular basis. And then one time a day, you ought to ask someone, can you help them? How can you be of service to them? And if they seem like they don't have anything you can do they ask them, do they have someone that they know of that needs a realtor right now? You'll be surprised. Somebody here lately, everybody's jumping up. Yeah, I got a cousin. I have a family member. I have a coworker. I have a friend. And that doesn't only just happen with looking for production, but it happens when you're looking for agent attraction also. Oh yeah, I know another agent. They said they don't like their brokerage or something. They're not making enough money. I'll give you their name. I'll tell them to call you. But you have to ask. You have to let it be known that you are available. And whenever you give these um, micro actions, you receive macro results. More clients is a macro result. Whenever there's a micro action, you have more income. That's a macro result. Whenever there's a micro action, you have more freedom. That's a macro result. Whenever you have a micro action, you have greater impact. That's a macro result. And that's what we all want. We want more clients, more income, more freedom, greater impact. I need you to take this with you. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's a hell of a statement right there. There's no way I can get around it. It's so great that it hit me just then. Listen, you don't rise to the level of your vision. I know you got your vision board. I know you have all of your goals. No, you're going to always fall to the level of your systems. So you need to ask yourself, you need to check yourself out and ask yourself, how are my systems? Do I need to improve my systems? And if you do, I encourage you to include the 5-3-1 strategy. All right, let's talk about this strategy before I jump into it all the way and break each number down for you. First of all, when you talk about deconstructing this blueprint, I need you to understand we're talking about 5 ads to your CRM a day, 3 follow-ups of people in your CRM a day, and 1 value drop a day. I'm going to talk about them all. You need to have 1 value drop a day. And if you do this for 5 days a week, now, the gurus say that you should do it before noon. But I accept that sometimes people, you work part-time jobs and you can't do it before noon. But I would at least say, if you can't do it before noon, try to do it before 5 o'clock. If you can't do it before 5, do it before 8. Try to get you a consistent time block where you can do this. But perfect world is before noon. First of all, you need to add 5 new contacts to your CRM a day. A day. Don't tell me how many you have in your CRM. That's old news. Tell me how many you're adding to your CRM a day. And if you got a bunch of leads, but you haven't touched on them, don't even add them all at one time to your CRM because you're not going to manage them. Just add at least 5 per day and manage those 5 per day. And then conduct 3 meaningful follow-ups daily. So that means that if you add 5 and then your total is 100, then out of that 100, you got to find a way to follow up on at least 3 meaningful follow-ups out of that 100. Then distribute 1 piece of high value local market data to that 100 a day. And then tomorrow it'll be 105. You got to give it to 105. In about a week, it'll be 130. You got to give value. There has to be a consistent presence of you in front of your pipeline. Has to be there. You can't take a day off. And if you do, you're going to see that the results are going to suffer. Here's the rule. You must complete this at least 5 times a week. I follow what the gurus say before noon. But for some reason, you can't do before noon. Usually there's a time block. I'm about to show it to you. It's between 9 and 11, 9 and 12. Get in that time block. If you can't, create a new one between 2 and 3. If you can't, here's your last effort between maybe 6 and 8. Maybe you work during the day and you can't be on the phone. 6 to 8. You can make this happen, but it's going to take your sincere effort. Look at the math. So honestly, say you do this for 1 month, and out of 1 month, you do it for only 20 days. How many new contacts you have? 100. How many follow-ups did you do? 60. How many market drops did you do? So how many, publicized information pieces do you have out there? At least 20. Those pieces show that you are an expert, and especially if you are a person that have a hyper local location that you're looking to work with. Now, if you're trying to send out something all throughout wherever your regions are, that may be too big of a place for you right now. You need to deal with something hyper local, and you become the expert. You drop 20 pieces of value in 30 days, and you plan to drop at least the same amount next week. That's how you begin to move into the 5-3-1 strategy. All right, let's talk about it. Here's the first number, 5. What's the first number? 5. 5 new database ads per day, not per week, not per month, per day. Leave this session and go ahead and make up in your mind who the 5 you're adding today. And if you don't have nothing to do late tonight, go ahead and start thinking about the 5 you're going to add tomorrow. Constantly keep it on your mind. Your business net worth is directly tied to your database size. But don't forget the last part, health. Your network is tied to the size of your database and health. The reason why I'm pausing, because a lot of us like to brag about size, but if there's no health to it, if you just got X amount of people in your database, but you can't get nothing out of that number X, guess what? Still no good. So a person with, let's say 3,000, but can't get anything moving without no system, cannot compare to a person with 30 to 300 that they're working that system for real and it's healthy. Those people are receiving what is necessary to get in contact with the agent on a regular. Yeah, you got to make sure that your pipeline is sizable, but you got to make sure it's healthy at the same time. Because an empty CRM, an unhealthy CRM is just a habit, a hobby. You're just doing it to keep yourself amused. And I tell you, I'm not here in this real estate game to keep myself amused. I'm here to make money. I'm here to create several streams of income so that if one stream appears to dry up, another stream will keep flowing in my direction. That's the only way you can create a sizable real estate business. Now, who qualifies? Where do I get 5 people to add every day? Well, some agents, man, and you see that's at the top of the funnel. Some agents, they do open houses all the time. We can set you up and help you with open houses if that's what your game is, that's what you want. And they catch data from open houses all the time. But that's not always what every agent does. Some agents, they go out and they work with local businesses and they pull in a connection with local businesses where you can work with the business owner. And while you're working with the business owner, they begin to give you business that comes through them. Now, one thing that EXP has is they have a program where you can work with business owners and let the business owner offer a benefit to their employees and their constituents, where it makes the business owner look like that they can offer something to their constituents, like 20% off your next purchase or whatever, because of their relationship. And then they put you in touch with the person, the employee, the constituent. And then you just give them a discount off of what you usually would charge. It makes the business owner look like they're offering an extra, extra benefit to their employees and their volunteers, but also it feeds your pipeline. There's some people, they just chase down their sphere of influence. So important. You find what's going to work for you. You may want to do a mixture of them. Whatever works. And there's a number of them I could have added, but those are the top three that agents usually chase after. But you have to find a way to fuel your pipeline. 5 new ads a day. Now, this is the goal. The goal is to take those lead sources and move them from anonymous to met, to move them from not in your pipeline to getting to know their name and other data. I'll give it to you now. Their phone number, their email, and their physical address. That's your goal, to meet people at open houses, local businesses, sphere of influence, little league football games, worship services, if that's your thing. Wherever you go, meet people with one goal in mind, to move them from just someone in the public to someone that's met and in your pipeline. And what you want from them, their name, their phone number, their email address, and their physical address, especially if they are a homeowner. Now, if they're buyers, then physical address is just great if you lose contact the other 2 ways. But definitely for a homeowner, so that you can work the system with them. And when you do this, those 5 ads, you're going to have a bigger database. And bigger database means more opportunities. You're going to have stronger relationships. And stronger relationships mean more referrals. You're going to have a higher net worth. And that means more freedom. You're going to be able to take a day off, especially if you are taking this system that I'm training you, and you're training the agents that's coming in under you and the agents that's connected to you as part of your, whether it's your revenue share team, or whether you're part of a production team. But if you're training others, then you're going to have so much freedom as your net worth begins to grow. Those are the 5 numbers that you have to chase. And I'm going to just repeat this again, how to find these contacts over and over. I want to put this in your head, how to find contacts, because there's people that's out there. They just need to be documented. There's people that's out there. They just need you to get their information. They're out there. You can walk outside of your door and may see somebody pulling up at your neighbor's house. Document them. You may not know your neighbor. Document it. You can go take your walk through your neighborhood, your community, meet people, document them. You can chase folks down. Here's the strategy 1 that I talked about earlier, just to bring it in full gear to you. Open houses. That's a hyper local. You want to, especially where you want to be seen as the expert. I know somebody say, I want to be seen as an expert in the very city that I live in, right around where I live. Or somebody else says, I'm licensed in this particular state and I want to be an expert in this quadrant of DC or wherever you're located. Have you a couple of open houses. Get connected. Connect with maybe 10 to 15 unrepresented leads. If they come in there and they say they got an agent, or they're working, the agent is with them, leave them alone. But if they're not working with an agent and you're the host, get their information. And when you get their information, EXP has a great platform where you can put on your iPad and then sign people in, and it goes straight to your pipeline. You don't have to write it down. Get you a couple of iPads and pass them out when people come around, and it will go straight to your iPad. Strategy B, I said it earlier, go and interview a local shop owner. And, if you start a little podcast or something, people will be jumping to want to get on your podcast. People like to be heard. People like to be interviewed and talked to. That's the beginning of having a relationship built. There's so many people, and then that's when you talk to them also about letting them offer to their clientele, their employees, their staff, different things about how you can offer the lowest rates for them. And that comes as a benefit of them being part of that business. So it makes the business owner look good. And by making the business owner look good, more and more people are coming to you for business. Digital audits. Go through your, instead of spending your days swiping, laughing at everything, I've gotten to a point where I don't even swipe any longer. It's got to be about business. Do an audit. All of those followers on your social media, have you touched and reached out to them? All of those friends on your Facebook, have you reached out to them? All of those connections on LinkedIn, you say all of those, I only have 10. Have you reached out to them? I only have 100. Have you reached out to them? It doesn't matter how many you have. Have you reached out to them? You say, I only have 0. Well, have you started building connections? LinkedIn has ways you can reach out to people so that they can decide whether they would like to connect. Go to your social media, do a digital audit, go to your phone contacts and wonder, because all of us we have several people in our contacts. Touch on all of them and then question whether they need to remain in there if you can't touch on them. Why are they still there? Because sometimes in life, we just bring over phone numbers from the last time we upgraded our phone. We're not even in relationship with those people. Maybe you need to create relationship. Lastly, go to community events, parent groups. If you have children that's in school, get to the PTAs and the groups, the little leagues, as I said earlier. If you go to a gym, network. HOA meetings, if you live in a community, network on a regular. There's no excuse, is what I'm saying. There's people that are out there, and the only thing you need to do is document them. That's all you got to do. You just need to document them. You need to get to them and document them. Now, let me give you the second number. 3. First number 5, second number 3. You need to do 3. And this is what I've seen agents do, because agents that are not top producers, one characteristic, in my opinion, about them, they're lazy. They don't want to make a live follow-up. So, you talk to people on your team or you talk to other agents. Hey, I sent them a text. Nothing wrong with a text. Oh, yeah, I shot an email. Nothing wrong with an email. But we still need to first and foremost have a live connection with them. The fortune that you're going to make is in the follow-up. That's where you're going to make your money. The number 5 just gets you to a point where you can start making money. But your money is made at number 3. This is where you're going to make your money, through your follow-up. Yeah, 80% of sales happen, look at the numbers on the screen, between 5 to 12 touches. A touch, phone call, text, piece of value, a like on Facebook or social media, a touch. They happen usually between 5 to 12 touches. Now, the awareness time frame is 1 to 4 touches. That introduces you. That introduces your value. But lazy agents, you stop right there. And usually it's not because you're lazy in that the definition of lazy. You're lazy because by the time you did that number 4 touch, you got some new leads that came in, and literally you just forgot about the person you touched 4 times. You gave up on them because you got something new. You got something fresh, something exciting. By the time you touch someone 4 times, you've gotten tired. They've become stale. So you don't want to bother them, and you miss your blessing because it takes place here. This is the engagement between 5 and 12. This is where you build trust. This is where you build momentum. This is where they become serious about that you are serious about them, their success, their outlook with selling, buying, scaling their real estate business with the top brokerage, being part of a strong revenue team. This is where it starts right here. And then after 12, that's where the conversion takes place. Conversion takes place after 12 touches. It's usually going to take 5 to 12 touches before you get them to convert. That's when you're going to see the conversion. But if you give out in the awareness time frame, you see what I mean? That's why you got to touch these people on a regular. Uh, Most agents, man, they follow up 2 times, 3 times at the most, and then they done with it. And then they get mad when they get done. Either they do it out of fear, they give up out of fear, or they get mad. They playing games. They ain't really trying to buy a house. They just wasted my time. You can't give up. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. You have to continue to push and push and push. That's why you got to have this live touch. And these are the top 3 ways to give a live touch. First way, phone call. That's real conversation. That's what builds trust right there. Yeah, it gets real between 5 and 12. Second way, text, SMS. I didn't put email because email can get caught up in spam. The only time email is a strong live touch is if they have let you know that that's their preferred way to communicate. That's when email becomes strong. I have a couple of clients that they work in top security jobs where they collect the telephone when they get to the government office and they don't get it back until they get off work. So they said, I can't check my texts. You're going to miss me. I can't take no calls. You're going to miss me. I don't have nothing to check, no DMs. You're going to miss me. But if you shoot me an email, I have my business and my personal email tied together. And that's how I tell my family to contact me if there's an emergency with my family, my loved ones or something, hit me through email. So email becomes live if that person chooses it as one of their top communication formats. Another way is a DM. Some folks, man, you can't catch them through text. You can't catch them on the phone. You can't catch them in email, but you can catch them by sending them a DM through LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other social media. You decide. And sometimes it's going to be that you got to do all of the above. You got to do all of the above. And this is what you need to do. That's why you need to make sure your pipeline is healthy. And I'm going to show you how to break your pipeline down in a moment. But you need to focus on active leads. You need to focus on your active pipeline. Now, let me say this. Those are your hot leads, your warm nurtures, or your recent open house leads. Those are the ones you need to focus on. But let me say this about your pipeline. If your pipeline is not properly organized and in the right way, you'll have cold leads labeled as active, and they're not. You'll have warm leads labeled as cold, and they're not. It's so important that your pipeline is organized properly so that when you go there, you know exactly who you need to be hitting with those 5 to 12 touches. And you literally know, this is when you're really good. You literally know what touch you're on. Even if you don't know that it's at 12, you know that it's between 5 and 12. You know that it's between 1 and 4. You know that it's at beyond 12 is at 13. So it's time for you to see a conversion if you haven't already seen it. Stop checking emails. Start initiating outbound conversations. Talk to people. And the only time you hit the email is if that's their mode of communication. If not, talk to people. Try to engage where it's going back and forth. When people comment on your post, on your social media, you need to make sure you respond to them. Hey, thank you so much for doing that. And ask them a question more than just give them something you responded to. Yeah, okay, then what made you reach out about this? What stood out the most? Keep them talking. And as you keep them talking, you're going to continue to touch and build awareness, and you're going to see that it moves forward. Once again, consistency wins. 3 live follow-ups per day will keep all of your opportunities alive. That's what we're going to push for. That's what we have to push for. We need to have consistent deals going every day, every week, every month, every year. It has to take place. Now, let me give you some basic scripts to use. They're very simple, not nothing real deep or anything, just boom, 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 just to show you how to work it when you're going to follow up with people. There are so many others out there that you just peruse. You can get some great follow-up scripts on how to talk to people, but here's some just quick ones to deal with. All right, when you look at it, the last thing, let me just say, don't ask the person if they're ready to buy yet. Don't ask the person if they're ready to sell yet. Don't ask the person, you ready to come on over to EXP? It sounds like a joke that you can say, but it can, with the wrong person, you can just lose your lead that fast. So you want to stay strategic in everything we do. I know that we laugh and joke, but this is a chess game, and we have to play it 3 to 5 moves ahead, and we have to stay serious. I've seen some of the greatest chess masters play, and I've seen them play 5 to over 25 people at one time. And I've seen them entertain the audience at the same time. And I've seen them chuckle and laugh while they're playing 25 games and entertaining the audience at the same time. But not one time did I see them lose focus. See, all of that other stuff, the laughing and entertaining, that's just part of the strategy. They remain focused. You have to stay focused. Don't allow yourself to become too jokative that you lose focus. So here's the inventory check. You want to check in on a client, and it's been a week or two. It's time to check back in. Hey, say the name. A new property just hit the market near your location. Have you seen it yet? If you're right, if this is to a homeowner, you want them to know houses are selling just like theirs in their community. If this is for a buyer, you want to know that there's a new home that just popped up in the very locations you told us you was looking at. I have buyers that say, hey, if it's in this community, this is what I want. I met a gentleman just yesterday, a cash buyer, $1 million buyer on a regular basis, Capitol Hill, DuPont Circle, Logan Circle. He said, hey, anytime you see any of these that fit this criteria, he gave me a buyer box. He said, let me know. I'm going to buy it immediately. Matter of fact, him and I are supposed to talk this morning. That's the attitude you have to have when you're following up. The next one, the equity update. If you're not asking about inventory, here's another one you give to a homeowner. Hey, John, homes in your neighborhood are selling 4% faster this month. I curated a quick report for you. When you want me to drop it off? That's a follow-up. Each one is giving value. Neither one said, I'm just checking in. Neither one said, I'm just following up. Each one came with something in your hand. You came with a new property. CRMs make it so easy to do that. You came with a new update. Last one, the casual catch up. Hey, John, I was thinking about you guys. How did that kitchen renovation? You said that you were going to take a break, get that kitchen renovated. How it look? Can you send me some pictures? I'm excited to hear. I do that regularly to my investors that buy and they do flips. After about a month go by, I check in and see how the flip is coming. And most of the time, they all are excited to show you how it was when I sold it to them to where they're about to take it. Whether they're about to flip it or whether they're about to rent it out, you ask them, how's it going? You get to talk to them. Or either you'll find out that they ran into a snag, just had somebody run into a snag. Well, we got bumped with some permits. It's moving slow downtown, so it's going to be another month. Oh, is there anything I can do? Any phone calls you want me to make? Any runs you need me to do? It gives you a chance to stay in front of them as their advisor, as their representative. That's what you're chasing for. Your goal is to constantly provide immediate value and relevance on a regular basis. Don't ask people, don't ask if they're ready to buy, sell, come over, checking in, following up. You can still get the answers you need without using those types of phrases. All right, let me give you this third number and move on quickly. 1, You need to do one local value drop regularly. Now, many of you do this already. I know you do. But guess what? If you don't do 5 and 3, it won't compound the one. You have to do all three. This is what's going to make you the top of the mind dominance in your community. This is where people are going to always have you on mind because they see you all the time. Every time they look up, they see you in their scroll. In social media they talk about impressions. You always give an impression past them, and then just as soon as they go by you, guess what? You come up again from something else. Or every time they open up their feeds, you're there. I got some guys, man, that every time I open up my feed, there's something new from that person. I can't get away from them. Well, that's how you want to be. You want to be in front of them on a regular basis. You want to scale your presence by broadcasting one piece of authority. I say that because it has to make sense daily. You want to put it out. So here's some things you can do. Get you a short form video, put it out. Get you a newsletter, put it out. Do a neighborhood update, put it out. Could just do a post. Get you a picture, get you some a statement about what you got a picture of and put it out. That's what you're doing. Now, I'm not going to leave you by yourself telling you where to put it out and how to put it out, but not tell you the various forms. Let's talk about those. Talk about local construction in the area that you are expert in. Only an expert would know about the construction that's going on. That's what they ask you on tours anyway. Do you know what they're going to do with that vacant lot over there? Well, even before they go on a tour with you, you already telling them what's going on in the community that they're looking at. It's almost like you're reading their minds. Zoning changes. You're telling them about the zoning that's changing. Now, this is going to become, right around the corner, is becoming commercial, which means that high-end marketing and retail is coming. Now you're telling them that the places that they're thinking about, whether you're talking about Northern Virginia, you're talking about National Harbor, whether you're talking about parts of D.C., waterfront. I just put something out not too long ago. They thought that when we built the wharf, that was something great. But now they're about to build something 10 times larger than the wharf. They're going to tear down some government buildings in D.C. People want to hear that. They want to hear that solidifies you as an expert. Market metrics. You can never go wrong on market metrics. You can never go wrong on that the housing market in this community is a buyer's market now. Now, at this moment, as of last month, this number of houses are on the market, and this is the amount of time that it's been on the market, and this is the average market price or the median market price. Those are the types of things you focus on. And this is where you distribute this stuff to. All over social media. Everywhere. Stories, posts, reels, TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, long form videos on YouTube, short-term form videos on YouTube. And then here's another one. If you got a database set up, blast them out to the emails you already have. Send them out to your emails. Every week I send a newsletter out to my pipeline. Some of them, because it gets caught in spam, it doesn't deliver. But a good percent does. And I've discovered that sometimes it can get hit with the spam. And then sometimes if you got it on a consistent, it can still get through. Maybe not last week, but this week. And if they click on it, the system will learn that they accept it. And then you'll be able to get through with that person on a regular after that. And the good news about CRMs, they have alerts you can set up just like this. But not only should you use the alerts that are already generic in the system, create your own. Make sure that you become top of mind dominance. Make sure that you grow your audience. Make sure that you become the obvious authority in your area. It's so important. Now, these quick things, I've already talked about it, but these are the things that qualify for a quick drop. Just on the MLS, get a snapshot of some things in the community, put it in a little layout, snap it right off of RPR, the MLS, and give it out to them. Create a short video. I see people all the time walking through houses. Either they got the selfie pointed back at them, or either they have somebody else walking behind them. Put out a short-term video. Some of them are with face, some of them are faceless. Put you out a video. Talk about upcoming projects. I've already covered that. Do a case study, and this is what I'm working on right now. Do a case study. If you're selling and you got a good number of people that's been closing with you, ask those people to do a case study with you, and ask them why they decided to work with you. Ask them how was the experience working with you. If they're buyers, walk down what that was. If they're first-time home buyers, ask them how the experience, how did you treat them? If they are sellers, walk that down. And then create a landing page on your website so that you can send new buyers to listen to the case studies, so that you can send new sellers to listen to the case studies. And if you do that and you inform them, it's going to be a great impact to you. Here's a rule. If it doesn't educate or inform, don't post it. See, sometimes some agents, they just want to brag. They just want to show them with a sale in the hand, and that's okay. But you want to inform. You want to be seen as an advisor. Here's a quick math on all of this. I know that it's going to take some time to get this stuff started, but here's the quick math that comes. Daily, you do 5, 3, 1. Daily. A week, that's 25 ads, 15 follow-ups, and 5 drops. A month, that's 100 ads, 60 follow-ups, and 20 drops. In 90 days, 1 quarter, if you're faithful, that's 300 new ads or contacts, that's 100 conversations, and that's 60 market videos. You have become a presence on social media with 60 market videos, with 60 posts of any sort. You see how quickly that added? And I'm almost sure if you do this formula, you're going to have 4 to 6 transactions minimum. All you have to do is try it. All you have to do is test it out. Don't take my word on it. Give it a try. Snap this picture. Make sure you give this a try and watch what will happen in your business. Now, the bunker hour. This is the time you got to take your phone and put it to the side. You can't be working at the same time. You can't be tending to children at the same time. You have to go into a bunker. You know, when people talk about going into a bunker, you're by yourself. You got to go. Sometimes people say the morning is the best time, and you got to carry out the 5-3-1 strategy, and you got to do it before noon. Many times, this is the time frame between 9 and 11 o'clock. And if you do that, 0 distractions, no cell phones of any type, text, email, conversations, no one. Email tabs closed. Don't check your email. Shut the door. That's what I mean by the bunker. I promise you, if you do that and give 100% focus to building what I'm trying to teach you, you're going to have grand success in everything. You can win the morning, and you can win this financial year. Protected time equals predictable pipeline. You can have the best that's coming your way, but it's going to have to come from you setting it up immediately. You're going to have to set this thing up. Let me get ready to close by just saying, this is how you set it up. You let the system drive your consistency. You stop using legal pads and Excel sheets, and you got to marry your CRM. Whoever, whether you use Bold Trail, Lofty, Follow Up, Boss, whatever your CRM is, you got to follow it. And you got to set up a section that say new leads. And you need to give them a 5-minute response. Don't let new leads come into your system and you don't respond to them. I respond to my leads soon as they hit. I can care what time it is. I can care what time of day it is, what day of the week it is. If I'm watching it, I'm touching it. And I have it set up where I have others watching it so they can touch it. There's time blocks that I do personal things where I just can't watch it, but I got folks on top. Some people get AI assistants to do these types of involved leads. Then you got to have an active pipeline. This is the pipeline that is active and you follow up with them on a regular. You can set up, if you look, you can set your CRM to say, follow up with them tomorrow, follow up with them in 2 days. You need to follow up with them every 48 to 72 hours. You need to follow up until they say, leave me alone. And if they don't disconnect you, you still wait a little while and you just check back in on them again. You know when you follow up enough because they unsubscribe. That's the plug right there. But if they don't unsubscribe, follow up. They just busy at the moment. Stay on it. And then past clients, SOI, sphere of influence, check in with them every 45 days. You have to stay on top of people. Get away from the messy notes. Put everything into your pipeline. It could be a learning curve, but you got to put everything into your pipeline. And when you do, new leads, active pipeline, past clients, SOI, 5-minute response, 72-hour follow-up, 45-day touch points, you're going to see success taking place. I'm just going to shoot this out to you because I need you to know the first 14 days is going to be like hard for you. If this is new for you, you're going to get so discontent, discouraged in the first 14 days. And then after the first 2 weeks, nothing's still going to happen. That's where it's going to delay. But you still have to trust the process. You still have to believe that it's coming. Most agents, they don't want you to, it doesn't show up until 90 days. That's why some of the places you go and try to buy leads from, they try to get you to stay on at least 90 days because it is a true statement. It takes a process before you see results. But if you stay faithful, you take it off. 90 plus days, you're going to take off. It's going to show up. And what does that look like? When you take off, if you take off because you do daily actions and it compounds over time, you give time bridges. You make sure that you look at the math. And if you stay disciplined, you're going to be better than what you are right now. I encourage you to go with this. Stay the course, trust the math. Your payday is coming, but you have to practice the 5, the 3, the 1 strategy.